Hey, you there, welcome back to Risk View War, and today we're going to be doing some winner trades that I actually took. I'm going to show you why I took them. I'm going to give you my risk versus my reward, and then we're going to talk about what I could have done better on these trades. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so we're in my chart right now, and basically this is NVAX, and you can see this ridiculous gap here that actually was bad news in the aftermarket the previous day here that NVAX came out and they said, you know, we're not even going to make half the amount of money that we said we was going to make, not even half. So obviously market and investors did not like that, and here we are at this price action. So we have the post market bottom here somewhere around, you know, $37, $38, $38 even, and then you have the pre-market high somewhere around, you know, between 41.20 and 42, right? With those levels in mind, we start looking for key levels, right? So we can't really see anything on this 1 minute chart, so we jump over to the hour chart, and then we can actually see some levels actually come into play, hence why I have these two blue lines, right? So I'm using these two blue horizontal lines as a zone to actually start working my charts in based off the momentum, okay? And then this goes to show you that also too, this is going to teach you that if you have a read on something, you may have to adjust just a little bit. If you don't like the way the stock is trading anymore, if it's not in your zone and key levels, then stay away from it. But it shows you that you can adjust a little bit, and it might give you, you know, some good indicators that you can just adjust and just go with the flow on the stocks. Let me explain that to you. So I have this little zone here. As you can see, these are kind of like lines in the sand, right? As you can see, every time it gets in these levels, it kind of plays around, and it kind of denies these levels for a little bit before breaking out, or just you're going to come up to these levels and have a hard rejection. So this is a very beautiful key level here at 44.50, right? At around 44.50, right? It's really 44.60, but it's around 44.50. Okay, so if we jump back into the minute chart, this thing will tell you right now that, okay, it ran soon as bell opened, it ran up. I was expecting a pop and fade style trade. This is what I call pop and fade, and I wanted it to actually get into this zone and actually start testing this zone, right? So it was running up, then it starts to become a little bit heavy right here, as we can see, right? So this thing starts to get a little heavy. It starts to kind of consolidate and try to hold up and do different things like this, right? So what happens is this thing consolidates, and then it actually tries to do a breakout, and then it opens up next candle and it breaks all the way out, and it gets right to that 44.50 level, and guess what it does? It retraces hard, puts this big wick off top in on this candle, on this chart, right? So if you look at the 1 minute, then let's go to the 3 minute, you see this huge wick off top. Let's go to the 5 minute. You also could see this huge wick off top. And if we go to the 15 minute, you have a pretty decent sized wick off top with a strong candle to follow. Now, if this isn't a bearish movement, I don't kind of know what would be a bearish movement with this type of wick off top. This is basically just trapped some longs. This basically trapped a whole bunch of liquidity and went the other way. Okay, so it just basically did a long trap and took the liquidity and went the other way. Okay, so this thing starts to come down. I see this big wick, huge wick top, and right into that level, and I say this is weak. I'm gonna get short right here. So I get short. I actually get 42.52s was my price, which was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised that I even got that price. And then this thing just starts to absolutely flush and work to the downside, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, I'm just swimming in money right now. And I actually did make a mistake. I actually ended up stopping out a half of my position at 42.32s. I don't know how the hell I fat fingered the order, but I did, and I was like, you know what, it's okay. i'm gonna just I'm gonna just take the punch. I'm not gonna add more. I'm gonna just let this work. So I still only had half of my position, and I just let this thing absolutely roll in the money. Now, I took my first out. I took it at 40.90s, right around this level, because you see I thought it was going to kind of respect this area here and bounce off of this level and then try to retrace and get somewhere back around this price. So I took a first out here. I took like a quarter out from what I had left, right? And then basically I let this thing start rolling down. Boom. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. I'm saying yes. I'm already $2 in the money. I'm like feeling good, right? And then it gets around to this price, and I noticed that this may be a little bit of a chop zone level right here. And I'm like, man, this thing might respect this level. And at this particular time, the market was starting to kind of retrace itself, right? So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to just get the rest out. I hold, then I seen it put this wick bottom in here. I'm like, yeah, it's going to respect it. I get out at 40.75s. Stop out the rest. I'm out of the trade. It was a $2 winner per share. I made a lot of money on it, and it basically helped my day a lot. This isn't my best performing trade, but this is second. This is number 2. Okay, I also traded Oxy, and that was good as well. But back to this trade. So I took it out here, and guess what? It leaves without me. But I'm okay. I'm fine, right? Like, I made money on the trade. I got $2 per share. That was a huge retracement. I wasn't expecting this. Now, what I was expecting, what I wanted to do in trading this thing, again, I wanted to let this thing fall in, let this thing pop up back into this area here, and I was going to get short here as well again. Same size that I had on before, and we're going to keep the same size. So it would have been around my same 25 cents under my original price, which I would have been okay with, right? And I was going to give from here, this 41, 42 level, I was going to give that 50 cent a risk. I was going to give it 50 cent a risk and no more, okay? So I was going to get that 50 cent a risk. However, this thing only went up. It broke down under this pre-market kind of little consolidation area, this pre-market resistance. It went down. It went right back up to this pre-market resistance, and it fell off. And it didn't even allow it to pop up into this area. And that's kind of the trade that I probably could have been paying attention to this right here and said, okay, it's a level. But, you know, how the market was, I can't really say it was, right? So maybe I could have been more aggressive on this and just got short right here again. Or just kept the full size, kept the size that I had, and when it fell, just added onto this bottom piece here to let it fall all the way through. Yes, but honestly, I think I traded this thing pretty well overall, right? Now, I was also looking for the long on this thing too, and I wanted to defend the long. I wanted this long to come in right here at the bottom, and then I would get long here right off this post-market low, and then this pre-market low, between the post-market and pre-market low, and get this run up kind of all the way back into this area. But that never happened. This didn't even try to happen today. So I'm not mad at how I traded this. Yes, I could have made a whole nother $1, $2 per share, whatever. But that's the name of the game. It's always going to go without you anyway. So why even trip on it? I made a bag on it. I'm cool. And that's pretty much how I took this trade. So, you know, was risking, you know, even when I bought it initially, I was risking, you know, from 42.50s, I was going to risk, you know, a 75 cent, $1. I was going to risk 75 cents or something like that if I would have seen this thing reverse back up. So it wasn't a big deal, you know. I think I traded this thing. This was a monster trade. Absolutely loved it. I absolutely banged this thing down. And we will see what the price action holds tomorrow. As you know, the CPI numbers come out. So we'll see what happens with it tomorrow. All right, so that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the comment section below. Go ahead, like, share, subscribe, and also follow me on social media at Big Hat Stocks. I will see you in the next one.